Help me, Grandma! It was just past midnight. Suddenly, the intercom rang, startling me. When I checked the monitor, it showed my granddaughter, Emma, a middle school student, outside. A storm was causing heavy rain and wind. I immediately opened the door and let Emma in. Emma, whom I hadn't seen in a year, looked thin and worn, wearing tattered clothes. Moreover, she was carrying a small baby on her back. "Hey, did you walk all the way here?" Emma nodded slightly. "Can you lend me $5? I haven't eaten anything for 3 days." Hearing this, my husband trembled with anger and shouted, "I absolutely cannot lend you money." Emma and I were stunned by my husband's adamant refusal. After that, my husband took even more shocking actions. I, Debbie, am a 65-year-old housewife. I live a peaceful life with my husband, 3 years older than me. Our son, Nathan, is currently 40 years old. He married a woman 10 years younger than him, and they live in an apartment owned by my husband, about 30 minutes away from our house. They have a middle school-aged daughter, Emma, and a 3-year-old daughter, Rita. Nathan's ex-wife and Emma's mother had passed away when Emma was young. 4 years later, Nathan remarried. His new wife, Cindy, was very kind and treated Emma, who was not her biological daughter, with great care, which reassured us. Emma used to visit our house often when she was young, but recently, due to school activities and studies, we hadn't seen her for about a year. However, Cindy often contacted us and told us how well Emma was doing. While relieved, Emma is still our precious and beloved granddaughter. I often reminisce about her childhood. Nathan's ex-wife had frail health and was advised by doctors not to have children. However, she chose to bring Emma into this world despite understanding the instability of her health. Sadly, her health deteriorated further, and she passed away when Emma was 3 years old. Emma inherited her mother's kindness and grew up to be a warm-hearted person. "Grandma, shall I give you a shoulder massage? Would you do that for me? Thank you, Grandma. Stay healthy always." Before Nathan remarried, we often looked after Emma at our home as he was busy with work. We raised her as if she were our own child. 4 years ago, Nathan decided to remarry and introduced us to Cindy, a bright and energetic woman. Cindy worked at a bar Nathan frequented, and they quickly grew close. Though her flashy appearance and long nails initially surprised us, we were reassured by Nathan's assurance of her kind attitude towards Emma. "What made you fall in love with Cindy?" "I've always been too serious, but Cindy taught me how to enjoy life." Thinking back, I wonder if discussing Nathan's view on enjoying life more deeply could have prevented the tragedy that followed. The regret keeps growing. Nathan and Cindy married, and soon their daughter, Rita, was born. Emma, 12 years her junior, was overjoyed at her sister's birth. She adored Rita and took great care of her. Every day, we were truly happy for our son's family's happiness. A year ago, Nathan faced a layoff, plunging their lives into sudden hardship. "I'm sorry to ask, but could you help us out until I find a new job? I plan to start a part-time job, but with the kids and everything, I'm sorry. Please help us." "All right, given the situation, we'll help for the sake of our grandchildren, but we can't support you for long. Both of you need to find work soon and stabilize your lives." It was the first time our son and his wife had ever asked us for help. Seeing them like this, my husband decided to support their family of 4 with $2,000 a month. Originally, this money was saved for our retirement, but in such a situation, we couldn't afford to worry about that. Initially, we optimistically thought that this tough situation would soon improve, but a year passed before we knew it. Looking back, Emma stopped visiting our house during that year. Then, on the day of a big storm, an unexpected event occurred. With heavy rain and wind outside, we closed our storm shutters early and stayed inside. Around 100 a.m., while dozing in bed, I was awakened by the repeated ringing of the intercom. Who could it be at this hour? Someone ringing the bell at this time must be in trouble. Let's check cautiously. Checking the camera, we were shocked. It was our granddaughter, Emma, crying, "Help me, Grandma." Emma, whom we hadn't seen for a year, was thin and wore tattered clothes. She was drenched and covered in grass and leaves. Surprisingly, Emma was carrying Rita, who was sound asleep. Though Rita was deeply asleep, it was clear she was as thin as Emma, despite being nearly 3. Rita looked like a baby. "Hey, did you walk all the way here?" Emma nodded slightly and explained their situation. We were speechless with shock. "Can you lend me Help me, Grandma! It was just past midnight." Suddenly, the intercom rang, startling me. When I checked the monitor, she had been feeding Rita bread and bananas, eating only once every 3 days, with the $5 she received from her parents, but now she had run out of money. Waiting for her parents who never returned home, Emma had come to us for help. At that moment, my husband trembled with anger. "I absolutely cannot lend you money." His firm attitude left me bewildered. Emma hid behind me, shrinking in fear. My husband, usually calm, rarely got angry like this. "Why you can't lend even $5? Emma hasn't eaten anything." Realizing his mistake, my husband soon returned to his kind demeanor with a sad face unlike any we'd seen before. He tearfully stroked Emma's head lovingly. "I didn't mean to scare you. I meant we wouldn't give any more money to Nathan and his wife. Emma, don't worry. You can relax here. I was worried when you looked so scary. Sorry. I got emotional. I can't forgive our son for letting our grandchildren suffer like this. Emma, Rita, don't worry anymore. Grandpa will protect you both from now on." Relieved by my husband's words, I noticed Emma still looked confused. "But do you think I'm a nuisance, Grandma? Have you always disliked me?" Surprised by her unexpected words, my husband and I tilted our heads in confusion. "Why would you think that?" "But Grandma and Grandpa, I was told by Dad and Mom that you've always disliked me." "Emma, what are you talking about? That's not true. You are our treasure. We've always thought about you and wanted to see you." As I spoke gently, my husband nodded in agreement, saying, "That's right." Then Emma burst into tears and clung to me. Emma, who had believed her parents' words, must have been enduring her anxieties while protecting Rita all by herself. We wrapped sleeping Rita in a soft towel and laid her on a cushion. I handed a towel to Emma, and after she calmed down a bit, I served her some warm cocoa. It's been a while since I've had something so warm and delicious. At that moment, Rita, who had been in a deep sleep, woke up looking around curiously. She asked, "Sister, where are we?" Rita had only visited our house a few times as a baby, so she didn't remember it. "This is Grandma and Grandpa's house. It's safe here." Hearing this, Rita smiled in relief. Seeing both of them relaxed, I suggested Emma take a shower. When she undressed, I noticed her body was covered in bruises, pinch marks on her arms and legs, and burns-like injuries. When I asked what happened, Emma said they were inflicted by Cindy. She said she gets irritated seeing my skin because it's so pretty. How terrible! Who could do such a thing? I was heartbroken. Seeing Emma's injuries, I couldn't help but cry. Emma gently wiped away my tears, looking down and said, "I'm sorry for making you sad with this story." "No, Emma. It's not your fault. From now on, rely on us more. You don't have to bear everything alone." Emma nodded in relief and went to take a shower. Later, when Rita said, "Grandma, I'm hungry," I prepared a meal with what we had at home, and they both ate eagerly. Emma gently wiped Rita's mouth, which had food spilt around it, showing how she usually cared for her sister. Rita seemed to truly trust Emma. The two of them tucked into the guest room's bed and soon fell asleep, saying, "It's so fluffy, warm, and comfortable." Watching their sleeping faces, I felt pain in my heart, thinking about what they had endured so far. What kind of hardships have these children faced in the time we haven't seen them? Poor things. The next day, I took them both to the hospital for a health checkup. Fortunately, they had no major illnesses, but they were severely underweight and not in good health. There were concerns that the bruises on Emma's arms might leave permanent marks. I regret not realizing their situation sooner. Later, my husband and I decided to visit our son Nathan's house. Although I was angry, my husband's anger had reached its peak. However, there was no response from Nathan's house even after pressing the intercom for a long time. We thought they were out, but after waiting persistently, Nathan appeared, looking as if he had just woken up. Nathan, why the sudden visit? Did something happen? Isn't it normal for parents to visit their son's house? Is there something you don't want us to see? No, it's not like that. We pushed past the puzzled Nathan and opened the front door. Inside, the house was messy, with a foul smell of garbage lingering. Seeing our appalled expressions, Nathan clicked his tongue in annoyance and said, "This mess is because Emma didn't clean up. Your family expects a daughter to take care of the garbage. That's strange." Nathan covered his mouth as if regretting his words, and my husband stared at him. She hadn't even washed her face. Cindy was surprised to see us too, but quickly put on an unhappy face and said, "You should at least call before coming over. Think about common sense." "Oh, so it's common sense for you to not care for the children, leave the house in such a mess, and sleep past noon?" That's unable to respond. My husband began to speak. "Well, never mind that. Where are the grandchildren?" He deliberately asked about the grandchildren, seeing our son and his wife exchanging glances. It was clear they hadn't realized the children were missing. Noticing that Emma's shoes were not at the entrance, a flustered Cindy said, "All right, today Emma took Rita to a friend's house. She always does whatever she wants, so selfish. I'm raising her even though we're not blood related and she's ungrateful. It's troubling." "Yeah, we feed them, but they don't help around the house at all." Hearing this, my son and his wife started bad-mouthing Emma without any remorse. At that moment, I exploded with the anger I had been holding back. "What do you mean you feed them? Do you realize what it means? That $5 is their food budget for 3 days. Emma has been enduring not eating herself just to feed Rita. I can't believe this. What can I say when your son doesn't work? We have to save. Life is hard. If it's so hard, why do you both look so well-fed and healthy while Emma and Rita are skin and bones? I know you both have been just playing around without working, using the money we sent." According to Emma, my son and his wife were squandering the money we sent on a life of irresponsibility and fun. They dumped all the responsibilities of housework and childcare on Emma. Because of this, Emma even had days when she couldn't go to school. Indeed, this lifestyle was what Nathan referred to as enjoying life. "How do you know all that? You shouldn't have met Emma on the day of the storm. Emma came to our house seeking help to prevent Rita from starving. Where were you that day? What we do is our business. You smell of alcohol. You were probably out drinking. It's your fault Emma and Rita are emaciated. Can't you take proper care of your own children? They are our children. You have no right to interfere." As Nathan reacted defensively, Cindy simply laughed without any sign of remorse. "If you take the children without permission, I'll sue you. If you don't want police trouble, send more money." At that moment, a loud voice came from behind. "Do the police. If anyone is going to be sued, it's you two. I'll tell them everything about the horrible treatment we've received." Turning around, there was Emma holding Rita. We had told them to stay home, but they came here and attacked using the $100 we had given them for emergencies. "I'm done being your child. I'm going to live with Grandpa's house." "What are you saying? You think the police will take a child's word seriously? I'll be a witness. We've already taken them to the hospital for a checkup. We have the medical reports as evidence showing their injuries and health conditions." "Whatever. I don't care about Emma. She's not my real child, but Rita is. Come here, Rita. You prefer mommy, right?" Reaching out to Rita, Cindy was met with rejection. Rita, looking close to tears, shouted, "No, I want to be with sister." "I don't need mommy," and clung to Emma, refusing to go to Cindy. Cindy was stunned to see this. A mother who had not shown love to her child was now being rejected by her young daughter. "You should know we won't be sending you money anymore. This house is in my name and we're putting it up for sale. We're cutting ties with you. Pack your things and leave. You'll regret letting these children go one day." Confronted and cornered by my husband, Nathan and his wife finally realized their predicament and began to apologize frantically. "Dad, if we lose this house, how are we supposed to survive? I promise I'll seriously look for a job. Please forgive us. I'll take care of the children too. Please forgive us." "What are you saying now? It's too late. We can't trust you anymore. I'll change, I swear. Just help us this time. You will pay for your sins in some way. From now on, stay out of our lives." Leaving Nathan and Cindy, who were apologizing, we returned home with our grandchildren. Later, they were arrested for their malicious treatment of the children. Neighbors testified that Emma had been taking care of the house in place of the parents, and Rita had been left outside the house while Emma was at school. Nathan and Cindy were imprisoned and would not be able to come out for a while. Even if they were released, their actions were well known in the community. There was an air that nobody wanted anything to do with them. As for us, we completed the formalities to adopt Emma and Rita. We demanded $1,000 per month from Nathan and Cindy as child support. This money is intended to be saved for the grandchildren's future. Emma remains a kind-hearted child, always helping with household chores. She also talks about her dream of becoming a doctor to ensure a better future for Rita. Our days surrounded by our beloved grandchildren are filled with happiness.